Coromandel Peninsula on the east coast of New Zealand's North Island is a holiday paradise. Sun-soaked beaches where you can soak in the rays or soak in the steam at Hot Water Beach. Enjoy the tranquility of the bush. And for the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship competitors, it's a new challenge. Based at Whitianga, the VIN's Goldrush Rally will take in the district's Great Rally roads for the first time in 3 decades. But first, let's go back to round 4, Rally Wairarapa, and an historic moment for husband and wife team Richard and Sarah Mason, scoring a win and taking out another New Zealand Rally Championship title. But not so good for Emma Gilmore, who rolled out of the championship on stage 2 when a simple spin turned the Suzuki Turtle. But the championship runner-up spot is still at stake as David Holder, Ben Hunt and Matt Summerfield are all within 10 points of finishing second for 2014. Mason's lead, 86 points, so unbeatable in the final 2 rounds, but just 4 points between Hunt and Holder, who also leads the Junior Rally Championship race. Whitianga Town showed its appreciation to the rally with a huge crowd coming out onto the streets to see the field of 60 cars on Friday night. With the championship tied up, Richard and Sarah Mason were chasing records. For Sarah, the most wins by a co-driver. For Richard, a chance to go unbeaten in a season. But plenty of interest in the battle for second as Ben Hunt was looking for a good rally after small problems all season. And David Holder trying to get back on the winning form he showed on day 1 at Whangarei. And Phil Campbell, the Tauranga driver, arrives fresh from a win in the Tauranga Club Rally.
Yeah, we've just done recce this afternoon and the roads are awesome. Obviously they are really tight and windy up here and I'm really looking forward to it because earlier in the year when we were on some tight stuff, this car was working well, so we should be having a look in for a good rally.
And they're repeated stages, that's an extra opportunity to really learn how to get the most out of your car.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We haven't done a lot of rally sprints or hill climbs in this car. The majority of the driving we've been doing is all on fresh roads, so it's going to be a really good chance to try and push that a little bit harder on some roads that we've been over before and a little bit more familiar with. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Lance Williams crashed out at Wairarapa, but the rookie is back with a freshly repaired car and hoping to challenge for rookie and junior title.
Well, thanks to Possible Motorsport for doing it. I've been working quite hard and this is the first time I've actually seen the car, so yeah, it's quite a surprise. Looks good now.
A little bit of bad luck last time, but you'll move on and try and find some good speed this rally?
Yeah, just move on from last time. You can only go up from there, but it was very disappointing, but you know, what can you do?
Alex Kelsey lives in Coromandel, so great to have him debut as Radical MC2 in the championship here.
There's a lot of people you know and a lot of people have seen the build of this car as it's progressed.
Yeah, and never been able to see it in action. So to be able to come down here and actually see the car, because they've probably never seen it. They've just seen it in newspapers and on TV and they know I'm from Coromandel, but they've never been able to connect. So it's an unbelievable feeling to actually have it here.
All these roads you've grown up knowing, but to get to go full speed, pace notes, how good's that?
Oh, I mean, like I said before, words cannot describe that feeling, especially in this car. It'll be the 3rd stage I've done in that car tomorrow morning. So to be able to do that here is just the most best feeling ever.
So let's check out the stages with the B&T stage preview. Stage 1, Earnslaw, rises above Whitianga before dropping through a thick pine plantation to finish at Whangapoa Harbour's upper reach. Stage 2 is the famed 309 road. Starts tight before opening out near the Waterworks tourist attraction, but gets tight and twisty through the bush at the end. A real driver's road, this one.
You know, really quite an interesting piece of road. It's mainly sort of a twisty piece of road and quite narrow in places. I'm told there's quite a bit of clay just under the surface, so maybe if it rained it could sort of bring through a bit of the, you know, the softness underneath. But looking at the weather report, it does look like it's going to be shiny, so maybe the worst we could see is maybe a bit of rutting up.
After first service, the biggest challenge of the day will be Tapu Cora Glen, a 23-kilometre gravel road which cuts through the Coromandel forest. This is relentless with no straights and huge drop-offs into a large valley. The rally could be won or lost here. Stage 4, Kelsey's Castle Rock. starts back on the other side of the peninsula, a forest track which B&T driver Richard Mason thinks may be the rally's most tactical stage. After service, stage 5 and 6 repeat the previous sequence. Then it's a short tarmac sprint in the new Waterwave subdivision. Stage 8, the power stage, is a repeat of stage 1, and the rally will finish again with the tarmac sprint. The battle for second place this year has highlighted the rise of two exceptional drivers in New Zealand, Ben Hunt and David Holder. Hunt started as a Rally New Zealand scholarship winner and ran for years in the Fiesta class before stepping into a Group N Subaru in 2013. Holder has cut his teeth in an old Toyota Levin before being shoulder tapped by Tony Gosling of Stadium Cars to drive a Fiesta, and then ultimately step into a Mitsubishi Evo 8 this year. Both drivers were successful in small Fiestas, and that has been the foundation for a successful transition to the top class and the podium.
Richard's already wrapped up the championship, and we thought, oh, it's a good chance this last two rallies to change a bit on the car. You know, Emma did a really good job setting this car up when we got it from her, and we hadn't changed any suspension or anything from then. So we mucked around with Neil yesterday, changed a bit around and see how that goes. And yeah, the boys at E&H Motors have put a bigger restrictor in and got a little bit more power out of it. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like.
David Holder surprised many when he took his fast pace on the Fiesta and immediately was on the winning pace at round 1 this year in the Mitsubishi.
We've still got a lot to learn, but I mean, we've been doing the consistent thing all year, and it's not as satisfying as giving it a really good crack. So I don't know, I'm going to try my best, and hopefully we can finish a bit further up than third. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what we do, so we'll find out.
So let's find out now with stage 1 as we head to the start with Glenn Inkster, our top rally driver and co-driver, and the Eco Light start line interview.
Well, we're on the start line in stage 1. Pretty lucky to be able to talk to Richard so close to the start of the special stage. Richard Mason, so many years of experience. Is there still the sense of nerves and excitement leading into the first stage?
Oh, look, mate, there's always a bit of nerves going into the first stage. Here we are, we're sitting on stage 1, so, you know, it's first thing in the morning. I'm wondering what's going to happen for the day.
Well, coming up 15 seconds to go. This stage hasn't been done before in a long time. Will your notes, will you attack the stage the same?
Look, we'll just give it a go and see what happens, I suppose.
Well, we better get out of here. 5 seconds. Cheers, Richard.
4, 3, 2, 1, go 80.
Well, talk about timing. That's the message from the champion. Now can he continue his winning way in this 11-kilometre sprint? This road well used as access to the forest. And Glenn, just look at the spectators lighting the stage too.
Well, Whittiang is a magnificent place to base a rally, and every driver likes to show their talent in front of enthusiastic rally fans.
Yes, it's a fantastic place too, and it's great to have the Goldrush rally here in the mighty Coromandel. Now coming down to the split time for Richard Mason. First stage 1, 40.5. Ben Hunt, number 2 on the road, and in the hunt for a win here. Ben has a reputation as a fast driver in these tight, twisty sort of stages that could really suit him here around Rally Coromandel, Glenn.
Ben's always targeted these tight and twisty stuff to do good stage times. I think that goes back to his learning in the Fiestas, and he's had a little bit of an underpower in the Subaru, but he's got more power. He want to go fast in the fast stuff as well.
His split time is 1:42.3, right? David Holder now also looking for a win, or at least a finish in front of Hunt here.
Well, it's a little bit different now. The championship's not quite as important. These guys want to show they really are up to the task of going fast, setting very good stage times, and putting it together for a whole rally.
His split time 1:48.5, so losing time already. Andrew Hawkswood back with his Mazda 2, the new breed of rally car developed in New Zealand. He's been testing with Richard Mason to try and get the best out of this new car.
And look at that, fastest to the first split.
Now Alex Kelsey's MC2 car, totally radical mid-engine space frame machine.
And there's no turbos on this car, so just listen to it scream. But he's lost a little bit of time there, a big handful to get used to.
So a small lead at the split for Richard Mason. Can he make the most of the first stage?
We all expect Richard to go out, set a good time, and really lead from the front.
150. 6 left, minus 35 left.
Just look how fast this is down towards the finish. absolutely flat out. And did you see the lock there at that speed? That's a major, major moment. He's really pushing on. He really wants to keep this winning streak going.
Down to the finish line, and his stage time is going to be 6:56.3.
Pretty bloody average, wasn't it?
So can Ben Hunt take up the challenge and be more than pretty bloody average?
Keep in long 6 right through gate 80. 7 left. Tightens to keep in 6 over small crest. Keep in 6 right minus over finish. 6 right minus over finish. 60 small crest.
His time is 7:05.2. So has the testing paid off for Andrew Hawkswood. What a magic piece of road here at the end of the stage too.
Gate 80. 7 left, tightens to 6 over crest. 7 left, tightens to 6 over crest here, and 6 right minus over finish. 60 to small crest, and 7 left, tightens to 5.
7:0.8, second fastest. Alex Kelsey would go on to post third fastest time of 7:03.1, but the car was only running on 5 of its 6 cylinders by the stage end. Matt Summerfield having a slow start, 42 seconds off the pace. Lance Williams also losing 44 seconds in the stage.
That was a big crash last rally out, so he's always going to take some time just to get his rhythm back, and you're always going to take a step back and then creep back up to the pace again. And just look at the sparks coming out under brakes.
Phil Campbell has had setup issues and 30 seconds down through the stage. But it was Graham Featherston who would take 5th spot with a time of 7:13.2. So sensational scenery, and what a result so far. Richard Mason just in front of Andrew Hawkswood. Coming up after the break, we tackle the famous 309 road, and Glenn stops it on the waterworks. Welcome back to the Vins Goldrush Rally in the beautiful Coromandel Peninsula. Stage 2, the 309 road, 14-kilometre gravel road, used as an alternative route from Coromandel to Whitianga. Richard Mason again winning the stage, looking comfortable on these roads too. Behind him though, an intriguing battle for second as Ben Hunt took on Andrew Hawkswood.
8 left, short 6 right minus believe.
This is actually the fastest bit of this stage. Little bits of crest, really committing to the pace notes. Almost Whangarei-esque. It's sort of like really hooking into these corners and using the camber. Great bit of road.
Ben's stage time 10 minutes 51.8. Andrew Hawkswood would be encouraged by his stage pace too. The new car showing potential on the tighter stages.
Well, Andrew's always been known for commitment. He really just gives it 110%. Probably not the most polished of pace notes in recce, but really gives 110% out on those stages. And this is really good to see this car going so well.
60.
But that doesn't seem as good as it should be. No brakes is not the place for this road.
Alex Kelsey on the ragged edge and 3rd fastest on the stage. That dropped him to 4th, but just 1.2 seconds behind Hunt. David Holder racing to improve his 8th place this time on stage 1, but unfortunately co-driver Ben Hawkins is again suffering.
Well, these roads are really tight and twisty. There's just no respite. There's no rest. There's no straights to get over that, and car sickness. What a horrible thing. Ben does a fantastic job as a co-driver, but he's really struggling there. As you can see, there's no commitment to the notes because there are no notes. He's just driving to what he can see and really just trying to get to the end of the stage.
But still manages to improve to 7th. And 6th overall, Phil Campbell still fighting the Mitsubishi setup.
They actually found a wee problem with the car after they blew the diff last rally out, so he's going to take some time to get used to the settings how it should be and adapt his driving style.
And Graham Featherston hanging on to 5th place in his Mitsubishi. Clint Cunningham moving up to 8th and within 2 seconds of Holder on his Evo 4. Matt Summerfield had been 14th but moved up 4 places on the stage to 10th. And a similar improvement for Lance Williams, up 5 places, now just 10 seconds behind Summerfield.
4 right minus tightens at the white pole.
See, it's interesting, it's not just what's on the road you use. White pole, he knows exactly where the corner's going to tighten and just gives you that confidence to push on.
Short 7 left -1.
Also chasing 10th was Class 5 leader Darren Galbraith.
6 right, 30.
And Brian
6
Green
right plus,
just 2 seconds behind.
6 left plus, 30. 4 left plus, 60.
So after 2 stages, it's business as usual up front for Richard Mason. Great to see the battle for second hotting up with Hawkswood having the upper hand.
2-stage wins, but you're not quite happy with the handling of the car?
No, I found that the roads are quite hard based underneath, and that there's like the stones on top are marbling along, and so what we're finding is the car's not getting through the loose gravel on top and into the hard surface and creating grip. So we need to do a little bit of work to the car just to make some adjustments to it to try and get the best out of it and get that sort of nice feeling back that we're used to having.
Great start, second overall.
Yeah, no, it is a good start. Pretty impressed with that. We, we had a few issues in the last stage and in the second stage this morning with the brakes coming down, but I guess it might have been the same for everybody. We came out with the brakes on fire, but it was all good.
With that brake problem, will you have to adapt your driving style?
Yeah, definitely less left foot braking on the way up the hill, and coming down to try and preserve the brakes for the end of the stage. And it's just. Oh no, it's just not too bad. You just got to sort of look out for a late call or something like that. There's nothing worse than flying into a corner that tightens with too much speed on and no brakes.
Ben Hunt making suspension changes at service after the first 2 stages.
We changed the suspension a bit, and I don't know if I think it possibly might be better. It's just me trying to adapt my driving style to it. I tend to drive a little bit sideways and kind of back it into the corner, whereas now with the changes we've made, you turn it in and you have to give it another flick to just bring it around. So just trying to get that confidence to tip it into the corner as fast as I used to. It's a bit different, but we may just bring it back a little bit on the suspension and just see if we can notice a difference, because it's a good experience to try play around with it.
Another new stage now, and what a stage 2, the Tapu-Corriglen Road. 23 kilometres with hardly a straight, and the tyres will take an absolute pounding. Mason set the pace with 16 minutes 30. But check out the battle for second. On the left, Andrew Hawkswood. On the right, Ben Hunt.
And such completely different cars, yet going very, very similar in the stage.
So Hawkswood with the early lead in the stage, but then one mistake will change everything.
And 5 left minus, and 4 right minus. Here, 30, minus 30. Short, 5 left, 30, and long 4 right.
So we're a little bit later in the stage here, and it looks pretty even.
Give me a late call. Short 6 left plus 30. 6 left plus 30. Short 6 left, don't go right.
Oh, Hawkswood into the bank though. Look at the time he's lost.
6 left 30, 6 left, don't go wide.
He's going to lose speed all the way down this next section of stage.
So Ben Hunt second fastest to Mason and 4.1 faster than Hawkswood. Battle for fourth, David Holder pushing hard, but the pace note's not so good with a sick co-driver. Changes at service for Campbell. He moved up to 5th here, so a good result. But Alex Kelsey out of the rally with an engine issue in service.
But some good times considering he's down a cylinder, shows the potential of this car.
And Graham Featherston tied on stage time to Andrew Hawkswood to hold 4th now. Plenty of other drivers trying hard too, like Clint Cunningham 7th overall. Tony McConaughey finally getting to grips with his Evo 8, just 3.2 behind Cunningham. Matt Summerfield moving to 9th and in a battle to stay ahead of Lance Williams. Williams slowly gaining confidence, now just under 5 seconds back. But Darren Galbraith 8 seconds further back in his Class 5 car, so lots of pressure.
And no recce for Class 5, so really good job.
Brian Green also in touch with this group in 12th.
And this is the longest standing partnership in the championship. Driver, co-driver, working well together.
6 right minus, 100.
Conditions not ideal though for the strong hybrid Honda. Lots of wheel spin in the early stages. And Thomas Thexton back co-driving for David.
They had international co-driver Malcolm Reed co-driving last time, so it's going to be good to see if they've picked up a few tips. Certainly using the sequential gearbox to the fullest.
Max Bailey had challenged for overall two-wheel drive lead, but now after stage 3 he was back in 15th. Marcus Van Kling leading historic and two-wheel drive on his way to championship victory if everything went okay on this rally. And an interesting comparison here between the RX3 of Andy Martin on the left and Tony Gosling in the BDA Escort on the right.
Well, two very famous cars in National Championship rallying.
Flat crest 100 to short 5 right plus 60.
And possibly the most fun to be had out there. Rear-wheel drive cars, plenty of sideways.
Yep, 5 at right minus and 5 left minus 80.
Really getting into it. And Tony's going very, very well. He's really stepped it up.
But halfway through the stage, he lost both his intercom and his tyres.
5 right.
Well, these roads are so hard, but also slow, so there's a lot of power in these rear-wheel drive cars. Very easy to give too much wheel spin. That overheats the tyres, then they get soft and they really just fall apart.
Gary Smith back in the class in his BDA. Stage 4 will use the 309 road again, which happens to be home to one of the Coromandel's top tourist attractions.
It's amazing some of the locations the NZRC brings us to. This is the Waterworks. Only a few short kilometres from Coromandel Township, and the rally runs right past the gate.
So while Glenn plays in the water, we'll take a break and return with more action from the Vins Goldrush Rally. Welcome back. It's been a stunning day so far on the Vins Goldrush Rally of the Coromandel. Stage 4 will start at the head of the Whangapoa Harbour, cross under the shadow of Castle Rock and turn onto the 309 road of the Waterworks. And once again, it's the Masons who are on their winning way in the B&T Subaru. Can they keep their winning streak going for a clean sweep in the championship? But take a look too on board at Ben Hunt. This must be a perfect stage for the young driver to make a real challenge here.
And he's made a few tweaks and changes at service. He'll want to put a good time down just to prove and remind us that he really is the master of this tight and twisty stuff. But a little bit ragged there.
Now, back on board with the Masons. Let's check out their stage time.
3 right plus finish. 250.
20 minutes, .05. A moment on the line there for Richard. Let's check out the super slow-mo with Gull.
And 6 times slower than normal, so a fantastic opportunity just to see the perfect lines and just how close they get to the side of the road sometimes.
Now down to the finish for Ben Hunt.
5 right minus, keep in, 5 left minus, shorten to keep in, 4 right over finish. 4 right over finish. 250.
And look at his time, 20:31.2. The Masons have cleared out.
And once again, 6 times slow-mo. Great to see the cars. Look at the detail, complete different lines from 2 different cars. And that's where little bits are made up.
And the battle for third is hotting up too. David Holder having to drive without pace notes, but still 4th fastest, however out of touch with the leaders. Also in trouble, Andrew Hawkswood, losing 7 places on the stage and losing brakes again.
First time it was brakes overheated, this time a rock has cut a line. There's absolutely no brakes.
But Phil Campbell really making up time here, 14 seconds slower than Hunt, but still 3rd fastest on the stage and was looking for a podium position.
And what a big difference it makes. A small change at service, a lot more confidence, and on this type of surface, you really need to have confidence. And he's doing a much better job.
Graham Featherston in 4th, but now under pressure from David Holder. And using all the road on his way to 6th, Clint Cunningham right in the chase for that podium position. Meanwhile, the 2 Subarus of our junior drivers, Matt Summerfield and Lance Williams. Summerfield gaining an advantage in these conditions, but Williams dropping behind Darren Galbraith. Tony McConaughey having another good result to lead this group in 7th place overall. So after 4 stages, Mason out to a 57-second lead over Hunt. Campbell up to third and Clint Cunningham an excellent sixth. Back at service, the drivers can't believe the tyre wear.
It's just torching tyres at the moment. You know, our Dunlop tyres normally used to last quite well on the 34, and you know, through there we came back and the inside of some of the tyres were pretty much bald. So we've knocked the boost back a bit just to try and get a bit more feel in the tight stuff, because I'm struggling a bit in there. But other than that, it's going well. It's awesome.
Not awesome though for Ben Hawkins, who's struggling with more car sickness, even trying acupuncture to help.
Fortunately, we've sort of had to drive blind for most of the day, but it's fun. But we clipped a corner and bent a steering arm as well, just to make it even better. So hopefully we'll have a smooth run this afternoon.
The Hawkswood team trying to repair the brakes for the afternoon stage. That held the advantage over these particularly tight stages. Not so good for Tony Gosling though. On stage 4 his engine cut out, leaving him stranded.
4 left minus. What's happened?
Dad. Everything was perfect, and the car just cut out, and that's us at the side of the road. So unfortunately, that might be the end of it.
Have you had a look to see if you can fix it?
Yeah, we've had a look at every. Well, none of us are that mechanically minded, but there's no spark and the fuel pumps are running, so we think it might be a coil or something like that.
And Andy Martin also coming to a halt when his diff cried enough.
And certainly quite hard to get parts for these old Mazdas. The Escorts, there's plenty of new bits being built, but the Mazdas, real hard to get parts, so it's a big job to keep them going.
So Marcus Van Klink on his way to an easy victory and the New Zealand title. Next up, another run through Tapu Coroglen, and while the locals were getting really excited, the big question on the road was how the conditions would affect the second run through.
Well, there's been a lot of rally cars through the stage, and rally cars are always cut. So the question is whether any big rocks are going to get pulled out and anyone's going to get a puncture.
So the big danger here is flat tyres, and it was only a matter of chance as to who the victim would be.
Keep in, hug 4 right minus. We got a flat again. Yeah, 9 k's to go. You ripped it off the rim. 4 right plus 50. You can't drive like that. Nah.
So the big question here, they've chosen to stop. It's going to lose them probably at least 3 minutes. You've got to get the tyre changed, get back in the car and get back up to speed.
So could David Holder take advantage? Ben Hawkins looking grim as David's riding blind again.
Well, certainly a tough day at the office.
With Hunt out of the race, Phil Campbell now up to second overall. Amazing after such a terrible start this morning.
I was talking to his dad at the first service and they really were wondering what they could get out of this rally. Now look at it, they're in second place.
And after dropping as low as 10th, the only way was up for Andrew Hawkswood too. Now with brakes and just 3 seconds slower than Campbell through the stage.
5 left plus, minus, tightens and opens into 4 right plus.
Graham Featherston again second fastest as he moved into third, and Clint Cunningham into fifth, and with a chance to catch Holder. Matt Summerfield would lose 8th to McConaughey, and Williams closing in within 10 seconds. Strong in 13th.
And not the roads to get the best out of this new power plant.
The Thexton's back in 15th.
And he's certainly a bit conservative through here, but just remember the onboards make this look slow. This is still many times faster than any road car's been through this road.
And Brian Green losing 7 places when he also stopped to change a puncture.
And trust me, it's not the easiest job. You're all kitted up, you got your helmets on, you're sweating as it is. It's a tough job changing a tyre fast in these rally cars.
So with Hunt out of contention, looks like Mason has a walk in the park with a 2-minute 23 lead, while Hunt drops to 7th. Featherston can challenge Campbell, and a podium still a chance for Holder. Van Cleek leads the Historics. Coming up, Castle Rock Road ruts up. Who's at home on the streets? And we have the power stage. The Vin's Goldrush Rally has circled the Coromandel Peninsula, driving through the historic port of Coromandel and across to the wonderful town of Whitianga. It's an area favoured by Captain James Cook, and who hasn't been on that famous ferry? Now it's a favourite port for recreational boating. The new waterways canals offers the latest in 21st century design. But this is a town that dates back over 150 years. Check out the local museum with its relics of shipwrecks and a tribute to the sport of game fishing, first introduced in the 1920s. And from the famous Whitianga Ferry, we head back to the forest now, a repeat of Stage 6, Kelsey Castle Rock. Again, the big question was the road conditions.
And when it is second pass on these forestry roads and public roads, sometimes a little bit of luck can come into it. You don't know where a rock's going to be.
Long 3 right, plus 22 left, got 14 k's to go.
And that sounds like it slowed the Masons enough for Ben Hunt to catch them.
20. This just stopped, darling. We've won the championship. 4 right minus braking, 2 left opens.
Yeah, okay.
So looks like the rally's over for the Masons, but how frustrating for Ben Hunt. That puncture has cost him a rally win.
It just shows how unpredictable rallying can be.
250.
So can David Holder rescue his rally and a podium still within reach here?
How's that, brother? It's good, man. Well done.
Stage time 20:24.3. All these drivers playing catch up on this incredible day, and Andrew Hawkes with just 0.6 faster than Holder. Phil Campbell should now inherit the lead at the end of the stage. Gets through the stage and into the lead goes Campbell. But Featherston's slow, handing Holder second place and Clint Cunningham up to 4th. Opportunity too for Matt Summerfield, and he's up to 7th after a good run on the stage. But this is also a good stage for Tony McConaughey, holding 8th, just 6 seconds ahead of Williams. It's taken Williams some time to find his confidence after the Wairarapa crash, but he's done enough to hold his rookie title lead and stay in contention in the junior rally driver race. So big changes in the leaderboard as Campbell takes the lead. Holder and Featherston battle for second. Clint Cunningham looking like a best ever result in 4th. And the demise of the B&T Subaru has left Phil Campbell surprised as he heads into the final service.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're obviously pretty stoked about that. A little bit unlucky for the Masons not being here, but I suppose that's rallying. We've had our share of problems this year as well, so that's what it's all about.
Ben, a bit of a rally of misfortunes, but there's this power stage. Surely you've got to be aiming for winning that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a good crack at winning the power stage. We need to get something out of the weekend. You know, we struggled with the car. We obviously we changed the boost and some of the setup, and we won some boost out before that start of stage 5, and the car felt magical. It was really going awesome, and about 13 km we got a puncture, and yeah, she was kind of the end of it. It was on the front left, so we had to stop and change it, and Tony and I, we did a pretty good job of doing that, and unfortunately we've dropped back quite a bit. You know, Richard stopped now. It was pretty unlucky for him, but we could have, if we were still up there in second, then we could have had a win. So bit unlucky, but we'll push hard at Daybreaker.
So a chance for redemption on the Vin's power stage, and every point will count in this battle to be the championship runner-up.
Remembering this power stage gets an extra bonus 5 points for the winner, and also the chance for a few extra points for those a little bit further down the field who might not have had a chance if the Masons were in this power stage.
7 right tightens to keep.
And the road looks nice and clean. They've done the stage early in the day. They're all going to be going very fast and confident on the notes.
7 left.
Okay, coming down to the line now for Ben. First on the stage in the Winger Subaru.
60, small
He'll set the time to beat. And that's going to be 6:51.9.
You've set the benchmark for the rest to chase in this power stage.
Yeah, mate, hopefully that's good enough. I definitely had a lot of fun in there, and the car's feeling awesome. Yeah, really happy with how we've got it set up now, so I'm looking forward to doing Daybreaker Rally, and you know, if someone beats that, then good on them, but yeah, they'll have to be going pretty well.
So now, can David Holder do it?
And it's not as twisty. It's a great stage. Bigger chance of being able to get through on the pace notes the whole way without getting car sick here.
30. 6 over small crest. 30 to a 6 right minus. Then 60.
This is close. His time is 6:58.6.
Opens. Man, I don't know what's wrong, but you got no power. Yeah? Yeah.
Matt Summerfield next through the stage. A good time too, 7 minutes .01.
You're sitting in third, just a couple of seconds off Holder.
Definitely. Hopefully being close to Dave through the stage will help us stay near the top. So.
Fourth car on the stage, Lance Williams, a chance to get one up on Summerfield. But not this time, 7:03.8. Now, Andrew Hawksworth with a great chance to win.
30.
But a spin, man, he would have to cruise to the finish. And would rally leader Phil Campbell risk his position for a power stage win?
You work your whole rallying career to be in a position to win a rally. He's not going to throw that away just to get some extra bonus points.
And he's in Hawkswood's dust too, so he doesn't want to risk everything. 7:18.7, so a careful approach.
Yeah, we're in a pretty good position overall, so I took it a little bit easier in there, and yeah, the dust was really bad in there, so I wasn't going to be taking any risks and risk putting it off the road. So yeah, I'm happy with our time through there.
Well, despite the rocks, Graham Featherston charged through to be third fastest, Clint Cunningham sixth fastest, just holding on to fourth place overall. So it's Ben Hunt who takes the 5 points by winning the power stage from Holder, Featherston, Summerfield and Lance Williams. Wrapping up the top 10, Tony McConaughey would finish 9th ahead of Darren Galbraith. Galbraith claiming the Class 5 win for the year with a round to go. Max Bailey again takes the two-wheel drive win and the title for 2014. David Thexton 13th and getting faster at each event. Brent Taylor 14th, second two-wheel drive in the supercharged FT86. 15th on debut for Class 5 competitor Mitch James, with Brian Green 16th. Jeff Torkington taking out the Class 5 two-wheel drive win and the class title. The challenge from David Ralph, ending when Ralph lost his brakes and crashed on stage 6. Tony Gosling and Andy Martin both returned to the stages for a crack at the power stage. Gosling coming away with the stage win in the historic class.
7 left, tightens 5.
Martin not so lucky, but should be pleased with his pace in the RX3. After spending time testing with Dean Buist from Palmside, he's been rewarded with much better time, showing that the RX3 does have a potential in this class. But Gary Smith did finish all the stages, so takes second in the historic, ahead of Marcus van Klink, who can now claim to be the 2014 New Zealand Historic Rally Champion. So just the final tarmac sprint to run. A chance for drivers to burn some rubber and entertain the Whitianga locals who have hosted such a great event.
fantastic result. First NZRC victory.
Yeah, it's awesome. We've had a really good day. We struggled a little bit earlier on this morning, but we got on top of that, and the car's working good. Me and Vanita have been working well. The crew did an awesome job getting the car here, so we're wrapped.
What a great boost for confidence. Fantastic result. Awesome to go to the Daybreaker with a win behind you. How good's it going to be next year?
Yeah, no, we're pretty excited about next year now. We've got an awesome car and really looking forward to it. Daybreak is going to be a bit of a challenge with a bit of night stages. I haven't done too well at night in the past, so we'll be working on that between now and then and looking for another strong result there.
David, a bit of a challenge today, but a stunning result in the end, second for the rally.
Yeah, man, it's one of those ones where you just don't give up and give it heaps all day, and we drove blind for quite a bit, and I don't know, it's fair charging to be fair, so yeah, pretty happy.
And good to go to the Daybreaker with a bit of confidence and try and get another good result there?
Yeah, I mean, it's all on now. I think the points get pretty tight again, and I'm looking forward to the night stuff to give it a good crack, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Graham, fantastic result, third for the rally.
Yeah, that's really great. After the issues I had, I decided to charge where the car was feeling really good once we got our brakes back after service, and it paid dividends in the odd stage, so yeah, no, wrapped.
Clint, great to see you have a nice clean run, fourth overall.
Yeah, it's been a long time. A lot of hard work, and it feels awesome, you know, and without my sponsors supporting me through the last couple of years, and you know, it'd be hard to be here today, so you know, thanks to them.
And a really great time in the power stage, first power stage points in NZRC.
Yeah, we knew Ben Hunt was close behind us, and we thought, well, fourth, we don't want to just give that away, so we're going to fight and give the car everything that we can, and yeah, it was good. It still come down to a close finish though, but in favour of us.
2 times classic rally champion, sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, we're pretty stoked. It's always a long battle to get here, but no, it's good to rev it up twice now, so yeah, really happy about that.
Reliability is such an important part of rallying.
Yeah.
How do you keep the reliability into such an old car?
Just general maintenance, you know, after every rally gets stripped down and replace parts that are probably going to break, so it's always a bit hard to get an RX-7 to finish a rally, so we're thinking we're on top of it now, but it's been pretty good this year, so yeah, it's awesome.
And you went through a few tyres today?
Yeah, a few tyres, yeah, we had a few dramas today, but managed to pull it off, so yeah, pretty heavy.
So Phil Campbell takes out the New Zealand Rally Championship victory in the Goldrush Rally of the Coromandel, followed by David Holder, Graham Featherstone. Great result for Clint Cunningham, with Ben Hunt salvaging fifth.
Is the beer spray?
So another title for Mason, but now a 3-point battle between Holder and Hunt for second. Next up, the epic final for the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. The Daybreaker Rally will run from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday the 27th of September, based in Palmerston North.